Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Game 2 between Tundra and Team Secret. Tundra has been putting on a show. But the main thing I'm really interested in about this Tundra versus Secret game is if I click on 33 here, look at his starting item build. He has he has no tangos, 3 branches, and a wand, okay? This is, this in and of itself is a wild item build. And you might be like, okay, is that it, Speed? No. Skeeter, the safe laner, also has the exact same item build. That's crazy to me. So in today's video, we're going to do a draft analysis. This draft was whack in and of itself. So, I know not everyone's into that, so you can skip past that to the gameplay. We're going to do a draft analysis, and then we're going to do a game analysis, and I'm very excited to do that. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the GameLeap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but actually, you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the GameLeap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below. I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. Alright, so let's do a very brief but important draft analysis of Tundra between Team Secret. In terms of bans, we see some very standard bans. Grim is one of the most popular +1 supports right now. What I mean by that is basically you pair him with any sort of mobility hero, whether or not it's a Sand King, a Storm, it doesn't matter. Any sort of hero with jump, you're going to be able to get a kill. And so I think that hero is very powerful. It's even doing pretty well in pubs right now, which usually it doesn't, which should go to show how good this hero actually is if you know what you're doing and you can have a little bit of synergy. Other than that, we see a Storm Ember ban, definitely 2 of the most popular spirits right now. And I think Tundra has a clear idea of who they're banning out. In this game, it's Nisha in particular. They just want to make sure he does not have any of his spirits, and that can limit the playstyle of Team Secret in that regard. Void Spirit, I definitely would say, is the weakest of the 3. Obviously, it depends on the game, but in general, that's what I would say. Especially as an early pick, I think Void Spirit's the worst of the 3 in this current meta. So we see an IO first pick from Team Secret, pretty standard. The weirdest part was a Necro Hoodwink response. Basically, the thing I see behind this is the heroes you often want to pair with IO are countered by these heroes. That could be a Tiny, that could be a Mars, that could be a Legion. Any of these heroes, like these strength heroes that just kind of run at you, I don't think are that good against Necro or Hoodwink, so I feel like that's the gist here. Maybe I'm missing something. Outside of that, I like these 2 heroes paired together. Essentially, when Necro goes in, Hoodwink can back up the Necro. He can sit behind him, he can set up for the Necro, and their spells together will kill almost any hero, especially these heroes that you often see paired with IO, Sand King sort of being one of them. Sand King coming out here, it's a stun for the Hoodwink, it's a stun for the Necro, magic damage for the Necro. Pretty easy to understand why they picked that. The only question I have for the Sand King is, or the thing I find a little bit weird about it is it's not an IO pair. This is not a hero that abuses attack speed by any means. I don't feel like this lane is good. It can give Sand King an okay lane as you heal him, but I don't feel like it's generally why I would want to pick IO. If I pick IO, I want to pair it with some sort of, lane dominator, a Viper, a Mars, a Legion, something that can run at the enemy, put pressure, because IO is really good at amping that up. So maybe they're still going to do that with their later picks. We'll see. This obviously doesn't have to be an IO Sand King lane. And yeah, let's keep going. In terms of our next pick, we see a very odd but cool pick in the Abaddon. The thing I would say about Tundra's draft is they lack catch, so they'll kind of have to fill that in with their next few picks. They definitely lack catch. However, Abaddon, incredibly good against Sand King with Necrophos. In particular, when I play Necro, I love to have these heroes on my team. Having an Oracle or an Abaddon, which is better than Oracle, I'll get into why, is so nice for Necro. Any of these frontline range heroes that can be squishy but do a lot if they survive the initial burst are really nice. With Abaddon. Why? Because Abaddon purchased Spirit Vessel, and he purchased the initial stun that will generally burst Necro. If Necro doesn't die in the initial stun, often he'll just straight up live. So I like this pairing. Now, you might be like, why Abaddon over Oracle? The reason why is Necro has to play very far up in the team fight. He generally gets into the fight. If Oracle tries to save him, he's gonna die. Usually, right? The positioning just doesn't really line up. The reason why something like Huskar can be a little bit better with Oracle is a good Huskar player generally will not extend as far when Oracle is on his team. He'll play sort of like a wall, and that combo works a bit better. So there's that. Then we see a Snapfire come out from Secret. I like this hero against Abaddon. The reason why is you can't really purge Snapfire's ulti. That doesn't do anything. And so it's just a way to kind of get through Abaddon ulti, or Abaddon shield for that matter. Because, you know, it's just too much damage. We've seen Omni Knight pick come out. I didn't understand this one. The reason why is I do not think Omni is good against Necro. He amps HP of targets, which Heartstopper is good against. I don't feel like it makes you really live through Hoodwink. I don't think it's good in lane versus Necro or Hoodwink. I personally like laning Necro into like the Ogres and the Omnis that have to walk close, because you hit them twice, then you Q, and it's like the trade is in your favor. So personally, I didn't understand this pick. The Team Secret draft, is this an IO carry? Maybe that's what it is. I haven't watched a game yet, which is why I like doing these draft analysis before I watched a game, because it kind of allows you to get inside of the head of like me and understand like what are they going for here? What is their idea? You have to imagine that this is an IO carry now, which makes a lot more sense. Definitely makes a lot more sense. After all, IO carry is good against Necro, kind of. The reason why I say kind of is, after all, Necro can burst through you. You can have a pretty decently high HP pool on IO, especially with the Omni buff. But I kind of get the idea behind the IO Omni lane. You buff each other, you give a ton of strength, you abuse the attack speed by just having more strength than Omni and IO. Because of the Heavenly Grace, you do even more damage. So I kind of like it. It's pretty cool in that way, right? It's like a very cool lane. Abaddon IO is another take. Maybe that's also part of the reason why they picked the Abaddon. They didn't want to give it away. I can't imagine that's actually why they would do that. That's very risky to like just deny pick like that, especially with no way of really knowing it's an IO carry. I mean, because Snapfire easily could be the position 5, so all right, you don't really want to do that. Luna pick comes out. I think the big thing with the Luna here is it's hard for them to burst Luna with these heroes. You might be like, how? They have Sanking Snap? I feel like Abaddon, right? As long as you live the initial stun, you'll get your BKB off. Luna rushes BKB. She's not going to die. And then Scotty is really important against IO, because he's like very heal kitey. So if you get a Scotty on Luna, the IO carry just gets nullified. If you manage to close the gap, which you can do quickly with Luna Shard as well, right? You can close the gap, get the Scotty still off quick, and go from there. So even though Luna isn't gap close for IO, which is like kind of what you might want to pick for IO, the Shard sort of is, and Scotty in general is very nice. Also, BKB is fantastic here, like a BKB core. Completely nullifies all of Team Secret's damage. They don't do any damage if you have a BKB core, so this allows Luna to stand on the front. Yes, you could burst her, even with BKB if she stands on the front with Sand King Snap, but you have Abaddon for that. So I think Tundra has good answers to what Secret has. I would say Secret's advantage here is that they have this really potentially very strong IO Omni. If they can kite out the Luna and the Necro Burst, the lack of catch here could allow this IO Ags to just kite around the fight. So that's like the playstyle. That's gonna have to be the playstyle for Secret. They're gonna have to play very kite heavy style. We'll see the last picks. That's gonna really influence the game as well. And the last picks of the game are a Shadow Fiend from Team Secret, which was wild. I say it's wild. I mean, it leaves the lanes open, because I guess you could put it safe lane, and then it could be mid Sand King. The draft from Secret is very flexible. IO can play mid 4, 3, 1. Omni could be off lane, Snap could be off lane, Sand King could go mid, Shadow Fiend could go mid or safe lane with the Omni, right? That lane's pretty fine. And we see a Coddle last pick. This was wild to me. The reason why is it's just like, what? Coddle? It's clearly some sort of like a death ball draft, because it's a mid Coddle. So clearly it's a death ball draft coming out from Tundra. They want to group up at some point because they don't have a lot of stuns. Let's be very blunt here. There's no stuns on the side of Tundra. Bushwhack is not some top tier stun. It's fine. It's not a stun. You have, slow from Coddle. That's it. Necro is not a hero with good disable until he maybe hits level 15. You can sort of use Ghost Shroud to slow for like 50%, which is notable. But I mean, a death ball draft coming up from Tundra. They clearly have an idea of the game. It's a really crazy heal draft. I'm super excited to see how this game plays out, and let's get into it. All right, so the lanes were definitely not what I expected. They ended up putting the Shadow Fiend against the Necro, and you might be wondering why in the world would they do this, and what is the Shadow Fiend's build? Well, the Shadow Fiend is going for the minus armor build, and I can actually fully understand why they do this. I'm personally a big Necro player myself. I love this hero, and what it really doesn't like is heroes that easily stay out of Death Pulse range. The biggest advantage of Necro in the laning stage, easily his ability to essentially get a CS and then wildly damage the opponent. On top of that, This puppy gets another courier snipe. On top of that, when you do this technique of CS with your death pulse, hit the enemy, it also naturally keeps your wave alive because it heals it, and therefore what happens is that you get to hit the enemy even more as they'll overcommit for CS. So a hero like SF that never has to tank a death pulse and can be very calm, like he can just essentially not have to worry about it, can just kind of poke down Necro. Necro also does not have the best of armor. It's not terrible, it's 4. It's okay, especially for a ranged hero, but it's not great. So I do like this lane. I like what Secret went for here. I don't think it's going to crush the Necro by any means, as you could see Puppy. This is why I was like a little bit confused about the SF pick. I mean, the Omni pick. You could just say like, oh yeah, it's just to play with the IO. Like this IO Omni is obviously very good. This IO heavily benefits from the bonus HP and the strength. It's definitely a cool combo, this Heavenly Grace plus this IO. Even though IO's mid, it doesn't matter. It's still good. But what I will say is that this Omni's not good in this lane, right? This double range lane, I'm a huge fan of. I personally, people hate on double range lanes. I don't really get it. Like the Hoodwink Necro lane, really strong, guys. So I would recommend keeping this in mind for your games. Don't be afraid to do this type of thing. I think it's like a thing of the past where like you have to have some melee hero. It just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't even, especially if the range hero that you're playing is tanky, like it's a Necro or it's a Death Prophet or a Nature's Prophet, like some hero that naturally just doesn't die easily. It's like kind of whatever. You're basically a melee hero that can hit from far away. One thing to note about this build though, that you'll see, this like wand build I mentioned earlier, is it does require your supports to essentially buy you tangos. So if you're gonna do this, you need to make sure that you tell your supports to buy you tangos, or if you want to start with this item build, you could at least, keep in mind, if you're going to do this, you could at least buy like one set of tangos for yourself afterwards. You're not going to play the entire laning stage without tangos. That's insane. Do not try that. It does not work. I can assure you. Either way, what I do like about this build, though, is that Necro and Luna don't necessarily want to buy Wraith Bands. It's very good for these heroes to essentially buy treads. Now, personally, on Necro, I like to go phase boots with a Wraith Band. I like to buy you know, that extra armor item early on and really go heavy into the stats. But he goes for treads. We'll see how that plays out later on. It was just cool to me that he's going such a different item build here. In terms of the mid matchup, let's quickly take a look. I would imagine Caudle wins this in terms of farm. Looks like it's generally even 44 CS in the IO. Oh, he's actually going for a double stack here. Okay, pretty cool. Really knowing the efficiency. When you see a team last pick Caudle, you would hope they know how to do something like this. Oh, going for a double clear here. I see, completely neglecting the lane. He's actually allowing the Abaddon to get farm here. This is really advanced stuff. I love when pros do this, and you should keep in mind, guys, in your pubs as well, if you have an under-leveled support, or a support that really benefits from levels, such as a Nyx Assassin or a Rubik, heroes with very hard level 6 spikes, Hoodwink being a great example as well. Frankly, most supports benefit from level 6. There's some that don't, like Omni doesn't really need it, you know, like Abaddon doesn't like really need it, you know what I mean? The heroes like Hoodwink, they completely change when they hit level 6, right? Hoodwink, all of a sudden you go from this like meh hero that can like maybe help with a kill to just the best hero in the game, right? This sharpshooter is one of the most ridiculous level 6 spikes in the game. It's a finger of death on a 45-second cooldown. It's a crazy ability, right? Obviously you can miss it, but the point is that, you know, when you have a hero like this, you're heavily amping their game, especially if these circumstances exist, right? So you have to think about this, guys. This is the type of thing that's gonna get you to really high MMR if you can consider everything I'm saying. Oh, I love this win list so much. But number one, right, by leaving the lane, you're not screwing over your lane or losing pressure. Okay, what I mean by this is if Hoodwink could kill this SF reliably, he should kill the SF. I hate when position 4 players leave my lane when they can own the lane. If you can reliably dive the tower and kill them, you should do that. Just stomp your lane. However, if that's not the case, which it's not in this lane, this Necro doesn't have that much kill threat at this point against an SF. So if that's the case, you can go somewhere else. You can contest the runes. You can sap mid. That's exactly what he does this game, so I love it from the Hoodwink this game. I think Sox's understanding of this game is fantastic. I really love his decision making, so I just want to say shout out to him in that regard. He's, you know, really getting some levels as he almost dies to IO, but that's the gist, right? So that is really, really important, and I love this maneuver from Tundra. In terms of like Secret, they didn't really do that this game, and you'll see there's a big disparity here. You might be like, oh, Speed, really? Are you going to tell me a level disparity between the Snapfire and the Hoodwink is that big of a deal? It absolutely is. It absolutely is. These are heroes that do not do a lot until they hit 6. So if you can't get them their 6, you are losing the game. Net worth doesn't always mean that. I mean, yeah, being 2K net worth ahead is a good thing. Obviously, you want to be the team ahead in net worth, but even if you're 1K net worth ahead, if your supports are wildly underleveled, your mid game is probably going to go poorly. You can even see it here, right? YapzOr, instead of TPing to the side lanes, this is how you know it's a pro game, right? A lot of players don't get this. If they're playing position 4 or 5, even if they need level 6 to be a useful hero, they'll just TP into every fight. It's so low skill. And like, you might be like, oh shit, I do that. Yeah, you probably do. If you're a support player, you might be like, oh, I don't do it every game. Guys, you need to really understand when you're useful. So like, I love what YapzOr's doing here. A double stack into farming bottom. Like, you might be like, oh, his SF died because he's not there. It's like, guys, his SF would have died anyway. Just get your level 6, make a double stack. I think YapzOr's gameplay here, even though they obviously lose this game, is exactly what he should do. So I love his gameplay here. All right, so Tundra ended up really taking over this game. Basically, Team Secret just couldn't fight, which is honestly the biggest problem with their lineup. I will not lie. I feel like their heroes just kind of struggle to do anything. Like, Sand King pre-Blink Dagger is shit, and like, his lane went very poorly for one reason or another. We didn't watch it. His lane was horrible. I mean, he is wildly underfarmed. So this was kind of the biggest issue for Team Secret. I mean, the Luna, for whatever reason, this Luna Abaddon crushed Sand King. And I will say, I think Luna Abaddon is a winning lane against Sand King, so it's not like that surprising. But like, he got crushed, right? If we look at the net worth here, I mean, he is poor, right? He is poor. So this is kind of the biggest issue. Their only hero, their only playmaker, has no farm. This Sand King Blink is wildly late. You might be like, Speed, he's getting in a minute 13. Is that really that bad? Yeah, look at his other items. It's not like he has a bracer. He has no soul ring. He didn't even complete wand, right? This guy has, like, ISS has no items here. He has no levels either. So even when he gets his blink, it's a level 1 stun. It's like kind of pathetic, right? Like, there's a decent chance he goes for a 2-man stun. It's just too short, right? I get that a lot. It's just too short. And so it is what it is, right? Like, their only playmaker can't make a play. They don't have like this hoodwink. I think Snapfire is like, it's an unreliable disabler. You don't want to play, like, when hoodwink, I mean, when Snapfire is your only stun, you basically don't have a stun. Like, let's be real, you basically don't have a stun. It's, yeah, it's just kind of how the game plays out. And so what ends up happening is they just can't go on anybody. And it's also what I talked about with this Abaddon pick. Secret doesn't have the, I mean, yeah, Secret, they obviously got crushed in their lanes, which is the biggest issue. No matter what the team comps are, right, you could be like, this is such an outdraft. Like, even if you think it's an outdraft, right, like, if you put Secret against some 5K stack, it wouldn't matter because they would just crush their lanes, right? But the point I'm making is that, yeah, even if the game was even, I think Secret would run into this problem here where it would be hard for them to defend mid. I will say, though, that this is like textbook gameplay from Tundra, and the reason why this is so huge, and the reason why this is a pro team, and it's clear that they're one of the best, which is Tundra, is they use the fact that Sand King doesn't have Blink, and they see that, and they see that he also doesn't have Epi. I'm sure they're keeping track of that, to push mid. They collapse on mid. They're like, yep, no Sand King. How are they going to go on us? How are they going to go on us? How are they going to threaten this Hooded Defiance Necrophos? How are they going to threaten this, 550 movement speed Caudal with a Spirit Vessel? Like, with, Winley's bots. How are they going to threaten him? How? You can't, right? There's an Abaddon. Not only can they not even close the gap, there's no way you're killing these heroes based on their item builds, right? They have these very stat-heavy item builds. So, also, this Luna, to be fair, she's actually not having that great of a game in terms of farm, but, because she doesn't have her lance yet. But it doesn't matter. If Sand King has Blink, it's a bit of a problem for Luna. She dies to Sand King early game because of her lack of HP, right? She dies to magic damage. Ends up not being a problem. Why? Because there's no Sand King, and he's out of the game. He gets his Blink now, and, like, obviously they're going to try to take a fight. I think Tundra realizes this, and no. What a disaster. What a freaking disaster. They waste Snapfire ulti. I mean, they're going to maybe kill Abaddon. Maybe? No? Okay. Yeah, and I think the thing behind Team Secret's draft is it hits this point of, like, ownage, right? It does. I think if they can hit a certain point in the game, it's very hard to fight into them because of this IO Omni, and that's 100% their idea here. They want to get to this, like, this mega timing where IO has, like, an Ags or whatever. I'm assuming that's what he's going, yeah. Ags, and then level 15, I think, is the talent. Yeah, the Spirit Heroes damage. So there's a timing for Secret, for sure. It's IO plus Omni. It's a cool strat. I like it. The problem is, if your Sand King gets shit on, which he did, then you can't do anything. Oh my god, what a bushwhack. What a bushwhack. But even here, let's look at this fight, right? Snecro walks in. I love the Belt of Strength from 33. He was buying pipe, but stops for a Belt of Strength. Why? Because he knows His job is to survive the initial burst, soak the initial spells, and then hopefully live. If he can do that, his team's probably going to win the fight. That's how Necro wants to function. That's why anytime I see like Radiance Necro, I'm like, oh my god. This guy better be only farming. If like you're team fighting with a Sacred Relic, I just want to spit on you, man. Like, like I hate when people do that. Like, I like playing Radiance Necro. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but it's not viable if you're going to play the way he's playing. So I'm glad he didn't do that. I like the Belt of Strength. But yeah, he's fine. Skitter almost dies here. You can see it's a little bit hard for the Luna to fight. And, you know, obviously they kind of have a lack of catch on Tundra, and even a lack of burst damage when certain spells are down, but they're able to disengage, so good play from Tundra. Good decision to back off. They don't have their spells. Looks like Secret's trying to go in. I get it, right? Secret's like, guys, they don't have, you know, they don't have any ultis. Literally not one. Maybe we need to fight, but they're just too far behind. They're just too far behind. The next thing I love from Tundra here, after we see this fight break down, is how they split the map and doing it based on the heroes. So this is a really advanced idea. Basically, no one like actively implements. They'll do it accidentally, but like no one actively does this. What I mean by this is Luna TP's mid, Coddle goes top. Why? Okay. Why do they do it this way? Why would Necro stay bottom, Luna TP mid, and Coddle go top? Why, guys? You might be able to think about it. You might be actually. I think a lot of you guys could probably get the right answer now that I bring it up. The reality is, though, if you're trying to be good at Dota, it's like, can you do it in the game, in the moment, and be able to identify when the fight ended? Like, ended. If you can identify quickly when the fight ends and be like, oh, okay, you know, it's over, and then be the first guy to get out to pushing waves, you're actually gonna have a huge advantage in pubs, and it's like a big skill set that I think like good players have. I actually personally think it's something I'm really speedy at. Good one, right? But the point is, yeah, I like what they do here. They leave the Necro bottom, not for too long. You know, you're not playing dead lane 15 minutes in with this sort of deathball team comp. That's not the gist. That's not what you want to do as Necro. You're going to get picked off. But they left him bottom to take a couple camps. He drags this, farms this, farms this. The reason why Coddle goes top is because he has the bots, and he's the best at pushing the waves on their team. He can do it the most safe. And so when Secret shifts away from bottom and they go towards top, they need to send their most survivable and best wave shove hero to the most dangerous lane to farm all three lanes at the same time. And then Luna is you might be like, oh, why not leave Luna bottom? They could, but Luna can farm triangle, which is safe, and Necro doesn't want to farm triangle. He can't take ancients. So this is like best case for them. I like how they split the map. I think it's a really good understanding of their heroes and how they work together. It's even kind of cool. I don't know if they do this on purpose or not. If they draft heroes that take different types of farm, I bet this is a thing. Because it's a thing in my head in pubs, right? And it's a thing like for a lot of players, it's like, oh, if I have a Medusa, I shouldn't pick like TA mid because we're both going to want to farm triangle. You still can do that, but you know, you just have to then if you're the TA, or if, yeah, generally if you're the TA, you're going to have to like buy a D-Lance and a Wind Lace and like run around a bit more. Yes, he bought Shard right away on Necro. That's what I like to see, 33. I hate that Necros don't rush this item, man. I think it's so good, dude. People just skip this shit. I don't get it. It's so good. He rushed it. Now I can say it's good because a pro did it, right? That's how it works? Nah, but I actually do think it's just really good. Either way, fight breaks out. Break onto the Abaddon. He lives. Looks like, I mean, this is what I was talking about. The Secret blows their load onto 33, right? They go in for the epi. Oh my god, he missed a stun. Rip for my size. Joking a little bit. I get it. He's trying to stun the Abaddon essentially, because he knows. I understand it. You might be like, Ice sucks. He knows that if he doesn't stun Abba, he's stunning no. He's not. If he stuns Necro, it's like he's stunning no one, right? Because the shield. So, you know, a mistake, but it is what it is. You kind of have to understand it. Either way, they don't kill on their initial burst, and now it's a losing situation for Secret because they don't have Snap ulti. That hero is pretty worthless now. Sand King has no epi. He's not killing shit. So, yeah, this is a tough spot for Secret now. They do have the SF right clicks. That's what they can play around. Only issues is, I don't think he has BKB yet, right? Yeah. Does he have it now? No, he has, oh, he's so under farm. Oh my god, they're so far behind. Oh my god, what the? I mean, to be fair, Secret's wave clear is donkey this game. Io's wave clear is like mediocre, because you kind of have to get close to kill the wave quickly, which is dangerous. SF with this right click build, it's like slow. Sand King is good, but like, how much farm do you want to have on your Blink Sand King? It's like, is this the guy you're putting the priority on? You know, is this your boy? I don't think so. You know, like, you kind of need this guy to be in position for team fights. So, yeah, this is This is worst case scenario for Secret. You can see Sumel's just, Secret's basically giving up right now. Not giving up like literally, but they're just like, yeah, we cannot fight. There's just no way. We don't have Snap Ulti, or we didn't. So let's just farm a little bit on our Io. Oh no, Io gets caught. How did Sumel not see this coming? Let's watch the map. Maybe he's just, I don't know, because you would imagine that they're gonna either continue to push mid or come to you. So why did he think they weren't going towards him? So they walk up, they don't show. Okay, they kind of show mid. Hoodwink continuously shows mid for a couple seconds. Coddle shows mid. Necro TP's bottom. Hoodwink TP's bottom. They scan in case the smoke is coming. The scan misses and they TP in. Wow. Okay, that is actually insane. Because Secret read it, they read the smoke, but they TP'd. That's actually crazy, man. Pros are, dude, like, sometimes, I mean, like, not to say, like, other high number players don't make these plays, but, like, sometimes the things that pros coordinate are so beautiful. Like, that's the type of thing that's so beautiful, man. Like, the fact that they kept showing mid like that and then, like, avoided the scan. They just, like, I mean, they were a little bit too fast even for the scan. Like, they were so quick with that smoke. They were so quick to read that, oh, Io is, like, trying to hit level 15 and Ags. Let's pick him off. They obviously know he's going to go bottom. He's not going to go top because they're top. So, it was just such a fast play. All right, so we did actually see the Shard Scotty come out from the Luna, which I love. Anytime you're outranged on Luna, you're against a TV or a Medusa, who you want to Scotty slow, or like an S for an IO, but you don't want to get that close to necessarily, you know, or you need to get close to for that matter, then the Shard is really, really nice for that. So I like his build this game on Skeeter. Going for the Shivas on Necro. It looks like he actually cancels out, goes for Blink. I love Shivas on Necro personally. The anti-heal and the slow just kind of makes you able to kill people and stay on top of people. Coddle ulti comes out. Fight breaks out. Beautiful bushwhack. Oh no, the tree broke, but they killed the Omni. I feel like once Omni's out of the fight, Secret can't fight because like I feel like it's such a big part of their team fight to be able to live through the Luna right clicks and then amp up this IO. I feel like if they can't do that, they can't fight. Honestly. Veil coming out from Skeeter. No Aether Lens. Or like a delayed Aether Lens. Pretty crazy. Going for a Force Staff. Which makes sense to me because the lack of catch from Secret, if you have one Force Staff, they're never going to be able to burst someone. Because you have an Abaddon Shield plus a Force Staff, there's no way you're bursting anybody. So I like the Force Staff because of the lack of stuns. Sometimes Force Staff is good against chain stuns for that reason too, but it's also good against like a lack of stuns. I think Force Staff's just an underrated item. I personally don't get why so many people don't buy it. Like they go for these big items on supports in this current meta. I don't know. I think a lot of games is kind of bad. Either way, fight breaks out. Yeah, they take him down one by one. Oh my god, that damage. Whew. My god. That's a lot of damage. That's gonna be the end of the game. There's just no way they fight into this Luna with 2 lives. Even this Io, he can't get close. You'll see it. Io's gonna try to enter the fight here. The Luna's just gonna Q him, or like you can see with the SF here, right? Luna Qs him. Obviously, Scotty doesn't last that long. I think it's like, what, 3 seconds? 3 seconds? It's like, I mean, it's not like that long, but it's long enough where it's just like a nuisance, right? And it's going to allow other heroes to set up on you if they want. So you can see this SF, he's just getting destroyed. Gets Vesseled, gets E-Bladed. It's like, okay, if you're SF, what do? Do you pop BKB and then they walk away? Or do you just not pop BKB and lose, you know, the next 30% of your health? They make the decision not to pop the BKB, but now he does because he's like, oh shit, I don't want to get stunned and die because I'm too low now. And yeah, now they can just disengage the SF BKB, which they do. They gotta heal up Skeeter a little bit, but they disengage the SF BKB, which is exactly what they should do. They force it out. Beautiful gameplay. Now SF has no BKB, and you can imagine how that's gonna play out. SF with no BKB against a lot of magical damage is generally not gonna go too well. And wow, the sustain, you can see the sustain coming in. The Coddle heals. How does Coddle heal? It's not Shard, right? It's just ulti. Yeah. So his ulti just makes him heal on his Q. Necro heals. Abaddon heals. So much healing. Wow, like that Hoodwink lived because of the Coddle Illuminate. And it's just so much healing going on. You know, it's just, wow, it's so much sustain. I really like this draft. It's really cool. I love these like low stun drafts. Personally, I think people slightly overvalue stuns. I prefer having good lanes plus Death Ball in a lot of situations. Obviously not every game, it depends. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.